Hey guys, it's Alexis back and again with another video. I was like tongue-tied. But oh my gosh, thank you guys for so much interaction and support and just really fucking with your girl. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just so elated that we're building and it's only gonna go up from here. So I really wanted to give y'all some more content and just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you can't book a personal reading with me, make sure you just comment, subscribe, like the video, comment, and be like, girl, where you get that do-rag from? Like anything helps the channel to grow. Anything helps. Yeah, just wanted to put that out there. But as you know, if you want your own personal reading, word chart readings, an issue between you and your boo, you and your cat, you and your neighbor, you and your sister, make sure you hit the link in my bio and book a session with me. I'm also running a Valentine's Day sale for all the lovers out there, all the Venus kids out there. So if you want to look at that sale for a limited time offer, please go into my Calendly and book a session with your girl. Like, stop. We can do a one-on-one or we can do a pre-recorded video if you're not comfortable with the one-on-one session. Whatever is your preference, whatever suits your fancy. All right, you guys. Now, today I wanted to look at the synastry between Justin Bieber and his wife, Hailey Bieber. Hailey Baldwin Bieber. I don't know if she still goes by Baldwin, but yes, we're going to go into it because there's been some news. There's always something going on with them, no shade. But that's just normal. If you're in the public eye and you're a powerful couple, like things just whatever. So recently there was news that Justin Bieber had unfollowed Usher and then he actually unfollowed Hailey. So there was a lot of speculation going on as it regards to their relationship where things getting a little messy. I think there's a trouble in paradise, what have you. Because they just recently welcomed their baby boy, Jack, in August of 2024. So this has a lot of people wondering, like, what's going on? And da, 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 da. Justin has been going through it a lot. Like I think he unfollowed his old manager, Scooter. He cut off ties. Like he's really just like clearing house. And I wanted to look at their synastry because I never really looked into their synastry before. I always say that before every video. I'm like, I never really until we just get into it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. After the video, is there trouble in paradise? What do you guys think is the next step for them? And yeah, so let's get into it. So automatically, she is a Sagittarius Sun, a Taurus Moon, Sagittarius Mercury, Venus in Libra, sorry. Mars in Virgo, Jupiter in Capricorn, and he is a Pisces Sun, Libra Moon, Aquarius Mercury. Hey, I love when I see someone with Aquarius Mercury, like girl with the dolls. Venus in Pisces, Mars in Aquarius, Jupiter in Scorpio, and a Saturn in Pisces. Okay, so right off the bat, I just wanted to look into their, because no shade, like their history is kind of messy. I mean, they basically knew each other from like being friends in 2009, and they were always claiming to be friends. And in the midst of like the Justin Bieber and Selena drama, they broke up, and then he rekindled things with Hailey. They got together, they started dating, they had like off and off thing, and then they got engaged. And 2 months later, after they got engaged, they got married, right? And so they have been in each other's lives for a long time. Um, and now I just wanted to look at their synastry because I was just like, let's be nosy, right? And before I proceed, that these readings are for entertainment purposes only. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. Anything that I say is my opinion only. This is not 100% truth or Bible. Yeah, allegedly, all these things per. Okay, so first thing that I want to start with the harmonious aspects, because we always want to get into the mess, the juice, right? But let's get to the harmonious things, right? Okay, one thing that I've seen that was really, 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 really cute, really, really cute. So Justin, he has a Libra moon and she has a Libra Venus. Oh, a Venus moon conjunction. That's a really, really sweet aspect in synastry, right? It's like your values and somebody else's like emotional processing. It's like these two benefics coming together to have this harmonious joint. And it's in Libra, right? Because Libra wants harmony, harmony in for Justin, he wants harmony in the home. And for Hailey, she wants harmony in her relationship. So with these two harmonious aspects, it's like they both kind of want that same thing in that instance. So that's really sweet. And it's in Libra, it's ruled by Venus. I'm sure that they have a lot of fun when they like, I don't know, travel, eat together, go to social engagements. Like that's something that they really love to do together. One thing that's interesting though, Hailey has her Venus in Libra, and she has a Venus in Libra at the 29th degree. Like that's a very, very important degree. That's the anaretic degree. It's a very critical degree, but it's conjoined to her Chiron, right? Chiron in astrology represents this aspect of us that is wounded, the wounded healer, right? Parts of us that will be, it's like this unhealed wound that we come into awareness of and use this awareness to heal the others around us, right? It's not necessarily for us, right? When we come into healing, like when you are a healer, it's like you obviously have to be in awareness of self before you can help others, but you coming into that awareness allows you to have a certain level of like empathy and sympathy for somebody else in their situation. But with her having her Venus conjoined to Chiron, you know, relationships can be very wounded to her. And all she wants, all really Libra placements want is just peace, peace and harmony in relationships. But you know, relationships aren't always just peaceful and blissful. You know, that comes with a little bit of strain, a little bit of tension. And for her having Chiron there, it's like she can kind of, there's a little tension when it comes to her personal relationships, you know, especially ruled by Venus, even relationships with women. And I know that people really didn't like her because they were like, "Oh, you basically stole Justin from Selena," and she had to go on for years saying like, "Oh no, that's never happened." But we're gonna get back to that. She could experience some difficulty with relationships, strain in relationships, especially women relationships. She could have like a, I don't know what's the tea with her mom. I don't really know too much about her, or Justin either. But you know, with Justin's moon there on that Chiron, it's kind of like he can kind of, you know, tend to her wounds around relationships, around abandonment, around feeling like she's enough, feeling like she is a part of something, feeling like she is adding something of value to these groups, these organizations, whatever. But it's so interesting because he has his moon in the 11th house. That's a very public house. Um, you know, he could even be someone that like brings her into his world, like brings her into his groups that he's associated with, like his own personal group, like his own like ride or dies, and like welcomes her, like, see, you are enough, you're good here, you're welcome here. And that can really soothe, you know, a lot of that trauma that she has with relationships. So that's really sweet. um but even like that moon in the 11th house, like he literally, it's like he grew up in front of us. He had to like, he felt comfortable. He felt at home in the public eye. He felt at home, you know, having all these people around him. Like the 11th house, it rules. And it's even crazier because like, you know, he grew up in front of us. He gave so much of himself to the public, like, but he feels like, you know, this relationship that he has with the audience is like his family in a way, you know. And even 11th house that rules like social media, networks, organizations, like he feels at home there. But that can lead to not the best things. Um, okay, so her Venus in Libra trines his Mars in Aquarius. Right there, right there. You see that right there. So that, you know, Venus trine Mars, that can just be a very, very like sexually charged aspect in synastry. And then especially because these are air signs, so these people they can like find a lot of sexual stimulation through, you know, speaking, their talk, their communication. Like they can have like a very like, you know, sh- he gets gratification from her values, right? He gets like, especially even Mars. Mars is our motivation, it's our aggression, it's our motivation. He could feel motivated by her need to like be amongst and be of service to. And like Libra is about the other. Like he could feel like his motivation, right, is being cared for and being valued by her need to serve, her want to serve. Like that can be a really nice aspect. And even Mercury, like it's just this airy flow. Like there can be just like a give and a flow, and um a very heightened attraction for, intellectual compatibility. I'm sure that they have really great conversations, especially with his Mars conjoined to Mercury. Like, I'm he can be someone that just like really like he just be saying it, he just be going at it, and she just like, yes, like I understand, like, you know. um Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. So Jupiter sextile Mars. So he has a Jupiter in Scorpio sextile her Mars in Virgo. So, and then mm, oh, that's cute. And their Jupiter sextile too. So like they bring a lot into each other's life. They add a lot of value to each other, whether that is, I mean, for her, I feel like with that Jupiter in his second house, like I feel like she can add a lot of not only just like physical abundance, like she can add like them getting together adds like monetary value to both of their names. Um but even just like she can add a lot of just like stability into his value system, like refining what he truly values, restructuring his values to give him that structure and that stability, right? It's in Capricorn. It's about responsibility, it's about diligence, it's about setting a foundation, setting the tone and building upon that foundation. So she can give him a lot of financial stability, adding to him. She can give him a lot of like philosophical stability, like grounding him into sort of like spirituality, because it's Jupiter. Jupiter is a great teacher. It's philosophy. um it's your perspective of life, it's your way of life. Like she can add that a lot to him. And her Jupiter is trine his Venus. Like that's cute. That's really like that's a really harmonious relationship. Like her Jupiter and Capricorn trine or sextiles. So sorry, sextiles. His Venus and Pisces. Like that can just be like a really really fruitful. Um, like there could be a lot of like give. Like she can be very giving of her love, giving of her stability, giving of her knowledge. Like this is a very like this can be like a very charitable aspect. Like they love to just give to each other, gift things to each other. Like his Venus in Pisces, it's kind of like his love can be like all consuming of some sort. Like this is a really sweet aspect. Like they truly do love each other. They really do love each other. Like that's really sweet. I like that. Um, his Saturn in Pisces is sextiling her moon in Taurus. So again, it's like, she's already someone that's pretty grounded in her emotions, right? Like that Taurus moon, Taurus is exalted in this moon, the luminary, right? Like she can be someone that just like she wants a certain type of lifestyle, right? She wants to be home, she wants to have the candles lit and the food ready. And with Saturn there, sextiling, there's just this like this energy of just pouring into each other, building, growing, um learning, right? His Saturn, I mean, Saturn can be restrictive, but over time it's like you get to learn the lessons and bloom the fruits of your labor from these lessons that you've been planting over time. And that moon, it's like this can even be like a good foundation, like where they grow into each other, they grow deeper in the home, they grow deeper in domesticity, they go deeper into their love of each other. Like that's really sweet. That's really sweet. Um, where is it? Venus trine Saturn. Who's Venus? I'm like, wrote down these notes kind of sporadically. Yeah, Venus trine Saturn. I mean, this could even look like there's like a a building off of like growing into this really like this commitment for each other. I know that Saturn, like Pisces energy can kind of be like gone with the wind and flow to the right, flow to here. But with her, like her Venus in Libra, it's kind of like she's flexible, right? She's open to just ride that wave with her partner. Like Libra placements, they're very, very giving and they're very compromising when it comes to the people that they love, right? Almost too much to a sense, right? Sometimes, because Libra rules over the seventh house. It's like the mirror, right? Because so they want to mirror their partner. They want to be everything that they can be to their partner, and sometimes that can lead to just being codependent on their partner. But with this one, it's like his Saturn. I feel like even with that like Saturn aspect, like they've been together for so long. They've been building this like friendship, this love. It's just been growing and growing and growing and riding the waves of commitment to each other. Like marriage is not easy. Relationships are not easy, right? But if you have like a core foundation that you can build with and that you can come to when things kind of get rocky, that is a really good tell to see if you guys will stand the test of time. And they have good placements, like I feel like Justin can kind of be like a little bit like but she can kind of be like okay like just kind of rides with him with that. All right. Now I wanted to get into some of the things I've seen. I was like okay. So okay, so one thing that I seen that I was like, because I think that they have deep, deep love for one another. I do. I definitely do think that they do. Um, but I feel like, Hailey, she got this Sag sun, right? Conjoined to Pluto. She can like she's a Sag, right? Like we love Sages. Like Sages are ruled by Jupiter. They're just fun, they're charming, they're energetic, they're open, they're optimistic, all these beautiful things. But she got a sun conjoined to Pluto. Like that can give her kind of like a Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. Like having that conjoined to the sun, the ego, like she can kind of be like a little polarizing, right? But it's like the sun kind of just like blocks out some of her behaviors where it's like, oh girl, like I'm cute, da, da, da. But she can be like, pretty calculated person, more that she gives off of, right? But what's so interesting is so this chart has Justin as a Scorpio rising. So that means that his Scorpio rising, he has his north node on his rising. Right. And he has Pluto in Scorpio. So he already has Pluto ruling his rising, and he has an additional Pluto on that rising again. So there is like this theme of like transformation and change and evolution that is ruling over his chart. And it's in the first house, the house of self, right? So it's like this there needs to be this evolution of his personality, of his self-concept. There needs to be an evolution to who he is as a person, who we know him to be, instead of being stuck in that, Taurus seventh house, which is being like, grounded in relationships, using relationships to give us that sense of stability, monetary values. Like it's that second house, right? It's Taurus, it's values. Getting out of that complacency and stepping into your power, stepping into your first house of self, like, oh, I am stepping into this new elevated version of yourself constantly. Scorpio placements are constantly being tested, constantly dying, and I mean, proverbially dying. Proverbial? Did I say that right? They have this sense of like death and rebirth because it's Pluto, right? Pluto is like the unearthing of hidden truths. It's the surface that is rattling underneath the ground that eventually shoots up, and it's like an explosion of lava, but there was tension. There was like these tectonic plates moving over periods of time before eventually it just shakes into something and it just explodes. And that you have to deal with whatever comes up. You can't keep pushing it under the surface, right? Eventually you're gonna have to deal with the shit that is under there. And with it in the first house conjoined to his north node, it's like there can be a tendency to be over reliant and grounded in relationships. And that's not to say that he can't have healthy relationships, but there's an over reliance. There's a over comfortability in that energy for him to move and for his soul's elevation and evolution to go into that first house of self and to stand in his power, stand in his truth, stand in, all of the mess that has come up over the years. But, her sun is conjoined to that north node, right? So it's like almost, and it's an outer sign conjunction because she has a late degree Sag sun, or no, early degree Sag sun. He has a late degree Scorpio rising, north node, and Pluto. So it's like, in a way, she can kind of highlight and illuminate areas in which he needs to go towards in this evolution of life. She can even help him with that. She can even aid him towards the progression of the next phase in his life's mission, in his soul's mission. But she got her Pluto conjoined to her sun, so she can feel like a lot of ownership and a lot of power and control and want to really because it's in his first house, like she can add, like she can feel like personal responsibility to the aiding of his evolution, right? Kind of feeling like a little bit like, oh, like I did this, I've given my time, I gave him my, like just being a little bit too over invested in his self-development, which is not a bad thing, right? If balanced out. But with Pluto, it can kind of get obsessive with this sort of dominance, this this domineering effect. Hey, I don't know. And okay, so he is a Pisces sun, right? But then she has her Mars in Virgo. Now, Sun Mars oppositions, that can kind of be a little spicy in synastry aspects, right? Because it's like there's a balancing act of like the ego, and Mars is our aggression. Mars is our motivator. So there could be like a balancing of like aggression, right? Like tension. So there could be like sexual tension, but sexual tension can also lead to like actual aggression, actual anger, actual frustration. So this is an aspect of like needing to balance like who runs the show in their relationship, which is normal in relationships. But I feel like Justin tends to lean a little bit towards more into his femininity, and Hailey is the more masculine presence in their relationship. And I'm not saying that she's like, oh, masculine, you know what I'm saying? But she is the one that is like she's the one that's calling the shots. She is like the main facilitator in their relationship. And that's not saying that Justin doesn't and they can't balance off of energies and switch, but I feel like Justin leans a little bit more in just like allowing and flow and just kind of letting the wind tell him where to go. Like that's one thing that like I love Pisces placements. I have a Pisces Mars. But that's one thing I'd be pissed off about Pisces placements because I'm a Capricorn. I'm like, I'm cool with like going with the flow, but sometimes it's like you need to plan with the flow, So sometimes Pisces placements just be like, I don't know, like I'm with the vibe. And sometimes I can just be like, what does that fucking mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see. Okay, I don't want to be rambling too much. But, Virgo Mars, like Virgo energy already, that's something that like they want things done on their way, on their time, how they said it, how they call it. Like they're known for the perfectionism, right? Because they can do it, right? It's Mars ruled by Mercury. Like she can kind of rule with an iron fist. Like she knows what to say to kind of like, okay, let's get it together. Like she can kind of be that energy, and she has the energy conjoined to his MC. Now, Virgo MCs, they kind of have this conditioning to, right? MC in our charts is the highest point in our chart. It's the most visible point in our charts. So it's the area which is shaping around your public perception. But with Justin having this sun in Pisces opposite that MC, it's like who he really is, that's who he is, right? But there's that conditioning of like perfectionism and how he's perceived. Even when he's like, he shows up and he's kind of grubby, he's kind of just, dingy. He doesn't have like a tailored suit on. People are like, what the, like people look at him like, girl, like, hello. But Justin is like, he's like that. Like he wants to go, he's with the ebb and flow of like his emotions and how he feels in that moment. And Hailey, she has that Mars and Virgo. She's like, no, we have to do it up. Like she's like, like there was a picture of them going to her launch for her skincare brand Rhode, and he was like in sweatpants and she was in like just like a beautiful two-piece set, like a pink set, and he was just looking like mad disheveled. And I'm just like, girl, like I know that she was pissed off. I know she was pissed off. But like even that Mars energy, like she can really be like, okay, like let's take this picture. You know what I'm saying? Like she can really facilitate a lot of movement into the way that he's perceived. Like I'm sure that she works overtime. And for me, the energy that I get around them is that like she does a lot to like really work on his image. Like I'm sure that I think she has like like a sort of idea of what they could have been, right? Because Virgo is all about service. So, Virgo is like, oh, let me just like fix you up real quick. Like, let's do it. Like, they want you to be up to their standard, but in a way that can come off as a little bit manipulative and a little bit controlling instead of just allowing this person to be like, I'm sure Justin is like, I just want to just be me. But then she has this idea of like, no, we have to do this. This is what the cameras want. This is what your audience want. Like, it's like, she's very like, she can be really structured like that. Like Pluto conjoined with her sun, like she wants things done in her manner. She wants it done perfectly. And like the silhouette has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect. Like, and that's just like he's like, and that's like the complete opposite of him. Like even with this north node that has just entered Pisces and the south node is in Virgo, that's hitting all their personal placements. So there's an imbalance of like not saying that things have to be messy with the north node and Pisces, but things just have to be. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be put out there. But Virgo was like, no, we have to rehearse it 500 times. We have to spend overnight. It has to look good. Like it's just like it's different. It's different aspects of being neurotic, right? Pisces is about surrendering. It's about letting go. It's about trust and belief. And Virgo is like, let's analyze, right? Let's critique. Let's jot down. Let's examine. Let's strip these apart. Let's list them. Like it's very structured. And I'm sure that that energy can I think that he like allows her to be a little bit more free, a little bit more calm, a little bit more relaxed. But then she wants him to be like, she adds like that fire in him, like, okay, let's get it done. Like, look over this and be more structured. And like, they can add those parts to each other to aid in each other where they have blind spots. Right. But that can be a little bit uncomfortable. Right. Like, I think that, I mean, with her Jupiter in his second house, like, I'm sure that she adds a lot, to his self-esteem, to his value system, valuing like making a business, like a home business, being like this it couple, this power couple, right? Um, I mean, but there's Neptune there, so there could be some like illusionment, like an illusionment together, or um, of like the ideal partnership, ideal just image. Let me see what else. And he has his Chiron in Virgo. And the South Node is going to come onto his 10th house. So there's going to be like a redefining of the public's perception of him and her motivations because her Mars is there. And then the North Node is going to be on his Sun, which is going to be illuminating like his ego, but it's in his 4th house. So it's going to be illuminating aspects of his home life, aspects of childhood, aspects of, his roots, his lineage. Um, hmm. And you know what's so interesting? He has his Jupiter in the 12th house. So he has, right, he's a Pisces sun conjoined to his Pisces sun is conjoined to Saturn. Okay. Ruled by that Jupiter in the 12th house. Or his Neptune, co-ruled by Neptune in the 2nd house. So there's like an illusionment that is surrounding with like who he is and who we know him to be, who he truly is outside of, the curated images and storylines and perception, all the things that go into like making a star. It's about this unattainability. It's about, looking up at people, looking up, they live these beautiful, glamorous lives, but then we don't see the behind the scenes, right? We don't see what they go through to upkeep this facade. We don't see what goes on at these parties, at these meetings with these executives. And it's so interesting. And Justin Bieber was discovered in 2008, right? And 2008, that's when Pluto entered Capricorn. Okay. So Pluto entered Capricorn in his 2nd house. So there was, the 2nd house of values. So boom, he came into superstardom, he came into super fame, right? But there was an illusionment around this value, around, the way that he came into this money, right? Even with Neptune in the 2nd house, this could be like building a career off of like being in the industry, being a musician, being like a thinker, conjoined to Uranus, like someone that sets the bar, someone that does something different, unconventional. And for him, it was like he set the tone by being this young, undiscovered talent in Canada, right? And even like the moon in the 11th, like literally his family putting him online, gaining popularity through his singing, through his speech, gaining power through his speech with that Mars conjoined to Mercury in the 3rd house, right? But Pluto is that planet that like it's a really intense planet, right? It's not the most sunshiny. It's not the most, soft aspect to go through that 2nd house. Like that can come. That's like Pluto is all about extreme. So extreme wealth, extreme grief, extreme, all the dark aspects that Pluto goes into. Um, Extreme popularity. And that was in his 2nd house, right? Like now he has to, like he was reshaping those value systems and what he did to get that money, right? And we've seen all of the stories coming out about Diddy, and Diddy was his mentor, and all these things. And Justin had to go through all of that, and he had to do it in public. And then after, we think that he's just like this, this incredible star that doesn't have to go through anything. He's just so blessed and lucky. He's suffering behind the scenes, right? And he's a Pisces. He's a Pisces, so he took that in. And Pisces, they can be known for escapism, right? Ruled by that 12th house, and he has that Jupiter in the 12th house, hidden enemies, right? Substances, secrets, in Scorpio. That could have been like a really dark past that he had to go through. But Pluto is now in Aquarius, and it's going to be there until 2043, and it's going to transit that third house. Okay. And he has Mars and Mercury there. So this could even look like Pluto will come in and, disrupt anything that's been hidden under the surface as it pertains to his voice, as it pertains to Mars, like, his his sex. Um Pluto could come in and like strengthen his communication, right? It's that third house. And it's an Aquarius, so he could utilize these networks to strengthen his voice, share his story, share his testimony, um, find new ways to express himself. Um, like get his voice back. And there's been like a lot of speculation that Hailey is like his his like conservator or whatever. Because I think that while they love each other deeply and they have a child together, I think that Justin really just wants he wants to he wants his voice, right? He wants to establish himself independently and get into that Scorpio North node in that first house, really establish himself and be powerful and like step into his own power through telling his transformation, through his stories, through the darkness, doing that shadow work, right? Um and they could definitely stay together and work through it, but I think that he wants to be free. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was doing some research and I was like, dang, like it's such a blessing that we have Justin. I know that he is going through his own like personal things, right? But I was thinking about Aaron Carter and they kind of had the same upbringing. They kind of had the same story of being in this industry and being exploited, right? There's a lack of boundaries. Um, there's a lack of care, a lack of just attention for these children coming into this industry, failed by the industry because they were persecuted by these people, allegedly, of course. Um, and just the tales of being a young star, having too much access, too many resources, but no one to ask them, are they okay? Do they want to stop? Right. And I think that Hailey definitely was facilitating a lot of his growth, a lot of um, really, really lucrative business deals. But in terms of just like who he is as a person, he wants that power back. He wants to tell his own story. Like this could even look like him like getting that motivation to speak again, just to harness his voice, to spread awareness, to spread the messages. And it's even interesting because they mentioned that they go to church a lot together. I know he got that Jupiter in the 12th house. That can be house of like spiritual protection, spiritual awareness. Um, right, because it's in the house of the hidden. So Jupiter, this benefic, it's like hidden knowledge, unseen knowledge. Like I would not even be surprised if like one day Justin became like a preacher or something, or like really, really leaned heavily into his spirituality. But it's like I feel like he just don't want to do this shit no more. Like he don't want to play into the facade. Like I think he likes the access and the resources that he gains from being this powerful couple, but it's just like the upkeep is just really just not for him. And he's just like, girl, no. And I mean, she has that Taurus moon in his fifth house. That can be really a nice placement for, I mean, even them like expanding their family, having like a really jovial, romantic relationship with one another. But he has that Lilith there. Like he wants freedom in his self expression. And, she has that moon there. So she, it's like, I think she adds like a nice layer of like helping him feel grounded in that self expression. But ultimately, Lilith wants to be free. Um, but she could kind of like set roots in that fifth house, like with their children, with certain projects. Like she wants to like be involved. And I mean, even like this fourth house energy, like when we have a partner with placements in our fourth house, they can feel like home. They can feel like family, especially if they have like a moon in the fourth house, a Venus in the fourth house. Like he has Venus and Pisces in the fourth. Like he wants to be completely, fully enmeshed within the family. And I think that, even with him having the Saturn return in Pisces conjoined to his sun, like it's shaping a lot, it's reshaping a lot of who he was, who he is into this new stage of life. Like he's grown, like he's 30, he's a dad now, like things are changing where he's like, oh, wait, I got to get really serious. I have to start taking that responsibility, start disciplining myself. But that could come as an effect to their dynamic and what they've built, you know? Let me see what other major aspects are happening. Jupiter in Cancer in his 8th house. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Mm, yeah. I mean, really, that's what I see for them. Jesus Christ. Sorry, y'all. I always be like, oh, girl, I want to keep it short. Let me keep it short and cute, but it'd be like 50 minutes long. Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's what I see for them. Do I think that they'll stay together? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I think that they have a pretty solid foundation for each other, but sometimes even with adding a baby to the mix, it just can really complicate things and really highlight any tense areas of a relationship. And people have been like hinting at a divorce. I'm not sure, but I feel like Justin is just like, I think that he just wants to have a little bit more agency over his perception, over his life, his home life. Like there's just been so much involvement in the curation of who he is. I think he really just wants to like step out and call the shots, do his own thing unapologetically. And that might disrupt his relationships a little bit. But I mean, if they're willing to compromise and work on it, then I'm sure that they can work it out. But yeah, Miss Beebs, Miss Beebs. I'd be like, girl. And like I get that she adds a lot to his public perception. Like them together, they're very like they make each other look really good. But it's only so much you can do, you know? And now they have a baby, so it's even more complicated. Um, but yeah, this is what I see, you guys. Please let me know if you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what other people you want me to look into their synastry. Yeah, that's it. And I just wish them the best. I wish Justin all the healing and love and bravery, right? Because like best believe we're gonna hear from Justin. We're definitely gonna hear from Justin, and it may not be the most pleasant thing, but it's his truth. And yeah, but yeah, this is it from me, you guys. I hope you guys have a great Sunday or whatever day you're watching this. And yes, and if you want a personal reading from me, make sure you click the link in my bio. Okay, bye, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.